And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Minding Your Business, the podcast. I'm Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We're going to be joined here in just a moment by our friends at Amazon Live. Everyone, welcome those tuning in on Amazon Live as well for Minding Your Business, the podcast. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again for our broadcast today. Have another, what I hope will be an inspiring episode for you, coming from my book, Minding Your Business 12 Keys for Growing Your Business Online and Offline. We have the book highlighted in the carousel on the Amazon side. We also welcome those tuning in on the simulcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube as well. Thank you all so much for being on with us. So we're excited about this one. This is actually episode number 5, but it is key number 4 if you guys have your copy of my book, Minding Your Business, and that is know your strengths and weaknesses. And this is an important one for me as I try to think about, of course, what we have to do when it comes to building our business online and offline. We have to be able to know the things that we are good at, as well as the things that we have trouble with, so that we can make sure that we're using our time and our energies effectively. And this is what I write in the book. No one likes to admit there are things they can't do, but I have found that recognizing your strengths and your weaknesses is key. When it comes to your business, you need to think of this objectively, because you will need to know the areas where you shine and where you might need help. All of us at some point will need help in one area or another of what we do. Knowing where you shine will allow you to focus your attention where it matters and bring help for the areas that might be a challenge. The other thing to think about with this key is that time also plays a role. There are things I know how to do in my business, but I choose to delegate or hire for it because it might not be the best use of my time. Another way to think of your weaknesses is that this is also an opportunity for you to work on becoming better. None of us can do everything well all the time. Be aware of where there is an area that needs some work, and maybe ask a trusted source, and then look for ways to make yourself stronger. So this is an important one, I think, for all of us as we think about our businesses and what it is that we're trying to do with our brands, because it does boil down to what are you good at? What are your strengths? Where can you maybe need some help? And being, of course, courageous enough and humble enough, quite frankly, to be able to ask for that help. Now, I think, there are some of us who, feel like we can do everything, and I say to people all the time, there are a lot of things I know how to do, but what I have definitely learned is that not everything is a good use of my time. Is it great to be able to know different aspects of your business, how to do things? Of course it is. But do you feel as though you have to do everything in your business? I personally do not. I mean, there are a lot of things that I actually know that for myself, my business being very front facing, the things that I'm expected to do, not only as the face of the brand, but also as the authority of the brand. However, there are a lot of the administrative things, a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that don't necessarily have to be a part of. And I think, too, knowing that is important. Now, for some of you, there might be other aspects of your business you look at and you think, you know what, I'm really good at this. I'm not so good at that. Now, not everyone, of course, has the luxury of being able to hire, but maybe you can be able to find someone you can do an in kind with, or some type of partnership with, that would then help you be able to fill in for that lack that you find that you might have in that aspect of your business and brand. Again, the important thing with this particular key, though, is to know for yourself the areas that you're strong on and the things where you are weak. And I tell people all the time, especially when I'm doing consulting, the main way to be able to do that is to write it down. Write down the things that you know that you are really good at. Also, write things down, the things that are also a challenge for you. And I may even take it a step further and say, don't just write down the things that you're strong at, write down the things that you don't even need to do. Maybe you can do them. Maybe they're an area of strength for you, but maybe you don't actually need to do those. And ask yourself, are these things that I can then delegate to someone else? Hey, Dr. Todd, it's good to be able to see you. Thank you for joining us for the podcast today. It's hard to believe that we are also starting this week. This is episode number 5, but we're on key number 4 in my book, Minding Your Business. Today is Know Your Strengths and Weaknesses, what we're discussing here. And Taz, and for those who are just coming in, I was just saying that this is an area that all of us have to be very honest with ourselves about, because we have to know the things that we do very well and what's a good use of our time and energy, and the things that we don't need to be doing for ourselves that maybe we can be able to delegate to other people. And I want also for you to be honest and say this. If you find yourself in a place in your business and you are not seeing growth, if you are not seeing things going in the right direction, could it be that you're not tapping into your strengths and getting help for the weak spots? And a lot of times, as I mentioned in this particular key in this chapter, a lot of times that means going to a trusted source, going to someone that you trust will tell you the truth. I think this is such a big thing. Todd says this is an important area. Learn to delegate. Right. Todd, I was just saying, I don't know if you heard the part, but I said there are some things I know how to do, but I also realize there are things I don't need to do. And there's a big difference there. Just because we can do things, and it's great that if you find yourself in a bind, if you just have to do something, that you know how to do it, I think that's great. But to feel like you have to do each and everything, I'm so glad I don't feel that way anymore, that I feel like I have to do everything, because there are some things that are just not good use of my time, and also not a good use of my talents that I could be using doing something else. So the big thing from this particular chapter to me is this: realizing that you have to be objective when you're thinking about yourself. Melissa says so important. That definitely is. And I love the fact that I was able to say in this chapter, all of us at some point will need help in one area or another of what we do. And that is so true. And again, it's surrounding yourself with people that can be able to fill in for those areas, but also being able to recognize what those areas are. And again, that goes back to self-evaluation. Unless we do the self-evaluation, we will not know the areas that we're strong in, the areas that we're weak in, and also where maybe we are strong in an area, but still may not be a good use of our time. So being able to be honest about that as well will definitely help it as well. So I would love to know for you, what has it been like for you? How's it benefited you to be able to recognize your strengths and weaknesses? Let me know in the comment section. I definitely would like to be able to continue this conversation. Next week, we're going to be going into key number 5, and this is nowhere to show up. I love this topic. And again, it's one that applies both online and offline, but that's what we will be discussing next week, nowhere to show up. So in the meantime, do that self-evaluation, learn where your strengths and weaknesses are, learn where you can be able to delegate, and you can definitely be able to see how you can be able to grow your business both online and offline. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Minding Your Business podcast. Feel free to be able to go through. If you've missed any of the prior keys and episodes, go back through on the platform you're listening to us on or watching us on to make sure that you guys catch those. And until next time, you all make it a great one. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.